On the New Music, Part 7. The role of music lies in helping the consciousness uplift itself towards the spiritual heights. The Mother. Sri Aurobindo on the Arts, quote, I do not know what to say on the subject you propose to me, the superiority of music to poetry. For my appreciation of music is bodiless and inexpressible, while about poetry I can write at ease with an expert knowledge. But is it necessary to fix a scale of greatness between two fine arts, when each has its own greatness and can touch in its own way the extremes of aesthetic ananda? Music, no doubt, goes nearest to the infinite and to the essence of things, because it relies wholly on the ethereal vehicle, sabda. Architecture, by the way, can do something of the same kind at the other extreme, even in its imprisonment in mass. But painting and sculpture have their revenge by liberating visible form into ecstasy, while poetry, though it cannot do with the sound what music does, yet can make a many-stringed harmony, a sound revelation, winging the creation by the word and setting afloat vivid suggestions of form and color that gives it, in a very subtle kind, the power of all the arts. Who shall decide between such claims, or be a judge between these Godheads? Music can name the unnameable and communicate the unknowable. Leonard Bernstein. The new music is not New Age music, nor is it soul music, though both of these may have inspirational and/or meditative content. The music of the Om choirs is a music of transformation. As Buckminster Fuller wrote, quote, now there is one outstandingly important fact regarding Spaceship Earth, and that is that no instruction book came with it, end quote. So too, there is no roadmap for the Om choirs. The following quote, found on the internet, explores a theme of divine unity in music. I have attempted to find the author, but was unsuccessful. Here is the complete quotation. The title is The Music of the Spheres. A great song has, as it were, several unities which can be perceived. There is, first of all, the basic unity that unfolds itself when the four voices of each section come together in a common movement. This unity consists in singing the right notes at the right time in the right way. No song that lacks this unity is worth hearing except for love. But this is not the end of singing. There are moments when listening to polyphonic chant, or to classical music, or to some sweet blend of the two, that I hear what I can only say is something else. It is rare. Not every choir can achieve it. And it is not something one can train for. The same song, when sung by one choir, may come no further than this first unity. But when sung by a different choir, the song may reach another level of perfection. It is something suffered by a choir, not in their person, but in their voices. As each individual voice is united to form the overall voice of that section, which is a deep, rich, and singular voice, so the separate voices of each section, especially in polyphonic chant, can at times come together in the creation or revelation of a single voice. It is as if within the folds of the song, an inexplicable and immediate voice waits. And the basic unity of a song exists solely for the revelation of this second thing. For the four voices, in a literal and profound way, become married, and from the intimate union of their activity proceeds a single voice. It is as if an archangel comes down and begins to whisper, and that fierce seraphic whisper shatters the song. An inaudible shaft pierces its side and wounds it. It fails, and yet it was for this that song came into the world. This single voice is music. Mozart's Ave Verum Corpus lends itself to being thus broken. In it, one can hear the music of the spheres, a note in the primordial song through which the universe was made. And this is entitled Credo. I believe in the music of the spheres, primordial and powerful, a cause of the universe. Its echo sounds in the best of music, and all melodies flow from it with fear and trembling. I believe in the single voice, which can proceed from the union of human voices, which wounds the song with its glory and is infallible. I believe in the secret fire that burns at the heart of all created matter, which can neither be destroyed nor possessed. It was begotten of fire. It is not the life of a thing, yet nothing lives without it. As the All-Father created, he poured forth like lava this imperishable flame into things, and saw fit to fix it as a beacon in the bodies of the sons of Adam and the daughters of Eve. I believe in the Muse, who has spoken through the great poets, who is the author of that irreducible complexity of poetry which is not explained by the poet. She is wise and, though never infallible, always indefectible. Posted by Benth Green on the internet. I read an article some time ago written by Rich Heffern and wrote to him asking permission to quote it, as I found it most illuminating with regard to some modern composers in whose music I have heard touches of the new music. The conclusion of On the New Music, Part 7. Spirit in Sound, New Sacred Music, by Rich Heffern. "Good heavens, this is gorgeous music," exclaimed a reviewer after a concert featuring a symphony and a flute concerto from contemporary composer Aino Juhani Rautavaara. Finnish composer Rautavaara and a number of his colleagues in nearby countries are putting together musical works that express religious awe, explore the numinous, and continue the ancient traditions of sacred music into the future. They have chosen beauty for their medium, thereby making a sharp turn from the discordant sounds that have characterized much 20th century music, towards new kinds of melodic and harmonic concoctions that are spiritually nourishing and soul-stirring. Contemporary classical music composers like Finland's Rautavaara, Arvo Pärt from Estonia, John Taverner of England, Henryk Górecki of Poland, Peteris Vasks of Latvia, Sofia Gubaidulina of Russia, and Gia Concelli of the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, are all unafraid to write music that, in the tradition of sacred music, echoes the beating heart of God. Their music looks back to the roots of sacred music, combining the past with the present to anticipate the future. Critics note that the theme and tone of sorrow and suffering, often expressed in the musical works of these composers, is a tribute in art to the collective passion of the whole world suffered in the last century by millions of victims of war and tyranny. A compositional style has emerged in the music world, uniting, after a 400-year separation, classical music with contemplative spirituality. This, quote, spiritual music, including popular works like Górecki's Sorrowful Songs Symphony, Pärt's Tabula Rasa, and Taverner's Song for Athene, often resonates even with people who have never listened to classical music. Gorecki is the first living classical music composer whose music topped both the world's classical and popular music charts. His Third Symphony has sold over 1 million copies. A hospice worker mentioned the cult status Arvo Pärt's Tabula Rasa holds among terminally ill patients. They called it angel music and asked to hear it as they died. In 1997, the public became aware of John Taverner's music. When the achingly lovely, may flights of angels sing thee to thy rest, from his choral work, Song for Athene, was performed at the funeral of Princess Diana. With the exception of Taverner, these composers all hail from small northern European countries around the Baltic Sea and from former republics of the Soviet Union. Gubaidulina is a woman, a rarity in the classical composing field. Classical music performed live is music we shine our shoes to listen to. We buy tickets because we both want to hear the museum pieces, the Mozart, Brahms, Beethoven, and also take in the new sounds contemporary composers are making. In the late 20th century, serious, or, quote, classical music became intellectual and experimental, sounding ever more discordant, atonal, even gimmicky. Composers like Arnold Schoenberg and Karl-Heinz Stockhausen influenced even the Beatles. But the sound of their music has been compared to an explosion in a boiler factory. Meanwhile, composers of sacred music since the Enlightenment had tended to merely graft secular music forms like the fugue onto religious texts, a purely intellectual, rational approach. In recent years, there has been a return not only to sonorous harmony and songful melody, but also to a rediscovery of the sacred nature of music itself. To be continued.